Hello, this is Nick Castle speaking. I'm the director of The Last Starfighter that you're viewing here, and I'd like to introduce my partner in crime, the production designer Ron Cobb.
Thank you very much. I'm here too. We're both watching for a while. My God, there's Rylos.
This first shot, actually, I had assumed could be the Universal logo, but with Rylos instead of the Universal
Yes.
world. But Universal at that point didn't want to give us a break, so we just went with this.
Yes, the time dilation tunnel here, which you'll see more of later.
But this is basically going backwards from the trip that our lead character Alex Rogan takes to get to Rylos. But we're as if we're in the ship going down to meet him on Earth.
A cosmic backward zoom.
This is the first time we've seen this thing in the right format in about 15 years, so it's kind of exciting. This was a project that was brought to Lorimar. It was written by Jonathan Betchwell. It was purchased by Gary Adelson at Lorimar, who is the producer on the movie. And he brought me in early on the project to develop the screenplay with Jonathan and himself. What we had to begin with was a very, I think, interesting idea, a very clever notion. The video game craze, or the second generation of video game craze, was happening in the early 80s and was really taking off. And Jonathan came up with this idea that The Last Starfighter was actually a simulation game for recruitment to the Star League, a real place in outer space. And clever idea to take a regular teenage boy and put him in a heroic situation in a space opera.
What was wonderful about this too is that it's beautifully written for anyone, any young person to identify with. It's like this could happen to me, and that's the best of these kind of films, I think.
Originally, the script started in the suburbs, very much in a Steven Spielbergian suburb, which is one of the reasons we wanted. Well, when I came on, I thought, let's find something a little bit more original, since he did that so well and was identified with it. And I just wanted to get something more isolated, so we were looking for what we found here, which was a trailer park.
Jim Bistel and I found this place high in the hills somewhere. I don't even know where it is now. I think it's a lost trailer park, but it was absolutely perfect for our hero's, kind of isolated home.
Gonna be a sparkling day.
Well, I actually, never thought of myself doing anything even near a special effects movie. I came out of film school thinking I was going to be the Vincent Minnelli of the 80s and 90s. And I think you can see a little bit of the broadness and the theatricality of the characters, almost like a musical without the music.
You too.
Catherine Mary Stewart was cast as your archetypal girl next door. Fresh, real pretty, simple.
Child, sure you're gonna be okay?
I'll be fine, dear. Now you just run along.
Bye. Hi, Miss Rogan.
Well, the idea of the trailer park was also to give a little extended family to Alex Rogan, to give this homespun quality, a small extended family that we could identify with and root for, with all the different kinds of folks. Otis is the wise surrogate uncle, and Granny as the wise surrogate granny.
Yes.
I guess.
I'll tell her, Jane.
The location was great because you had these levels. It made for nice framing. The lead of the piece, Alex Rogan, is played by Lance Guest. He was chosen for his all-American boy qualities and a kind of teenage Jimmy Stewart, Henry Fonda, the really great kid that's always there for his mother and for all the folks at the trailer park, and someone you can really root for.
Well, you're seeing the first bit of the fantasy here. The game itself, which is sort of thematic of the whole world that we're all about to enter, it was a very interesting thing to try to design, because games at the time were relatively limited, and I was very, very intrigued by the fact that we could go a lot further in implying a very, very complex sort of flight simulator. We wanted to look higher tech than the games that you would normally expect to see, including the cabinet and everything, to give it a believable look. Everything was designed from the ground up. The logo is kind of a variant on the Strategic Air Command. Also, you notice in the logo you've got the colors of Rylos, which are the violet and the purple.
And, of course, Alex Rogan's little brother Lewis, the name Lewis taken from my own son, Lewis Castle. I mean, I've had a lot of good luck with young kids in my movies. They're all very natural. They don't need a lot of direction. They all had a sense of the camera being invisible.
Alex, did it come yet?
Alex Rogan, as a matter of fact, was named after Jonathan Betchwell, the writer's first son, Alexander Betchwell. After the initial names, which were on the very first script, I thought was a little too cartoony. The original names were Skip and Penny.
Get drunk, throw up every Saturday night. Go to City College.
Yeah, one of the ways that we thought you would care about Alex Rogan and his plight, and also identify with him and root for his heroic adventure, is to put him in a situation that where he couldn't do the little normal things that most kids his age can do, like go to the park, have a normal day. No, he's always stuck having to fix the toilets and the electricity at this trailer park. He has big ideas about going away to school, but he never really gets to do them. And so when he gets the real adventure of a lifetime, it's all the more exciting.
No, it's okay. This will take a while. I'll catch up with you later.
Left behind again.
He's left behind.
Again, you can see the setting of the trailer park is wonderful.
Alex, come help me!
Hey, Alex, could you give me a hand here?
Didn't even notice there was an optical zoom there at the end of that shot. Why was that? And of course, we're in his room and get an indication of where he'd rather be, Paris or some South Seas island. But no, he's stuck in his room dreaming about places that he'll probably never get to.
I don't know. About cards. Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, but we played cards last night. Well,
Craig Saffin was the composer on the picture, and I think he came up with some wonderful themes for the movie. Not only the kind of heroic type battle scoring that you need to do to enhance the drama of the action, but all the wistful moments that gave a nice texture to the movie. And here you see Alex, of course. He even knows everyone's offhanded comments by heart. That's how buried he is in this situation. And his one relief is playing this game.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Sur and the Kodan Armada.
Our first view of the Starfighter
Get ready.
to be.
Prepare for blast-off. Prepare for target light tracking, Starfighter.
Robert Preston is the voice of the game, and as you'll notice, the way that Ron designed the game, we'll see it reflected in real life as we go on. The first thing that you do in the game is you have these targets come out, and you just hit the targets. Then there's 2 or 3 other levels. We'll see them happen in reality, and that's kind of the fun of and the feeling of reality of if a kid could actually, if he was really good at this game, be able to sit himself in a Gunstar and actually, beat up on the bad guys.
It's the story that to come is also very much the imaginings of someone that would play a game like this. So it's all the more fun that we could make it all happen for real.
Hold on tight.
Enemy squadrons in sectors 3, 6, 7 closing fast.
And at this point, we really were trying to show how it's pretty much pathetic this guy's life was. Where it was going, no place. He even looks at his friend here, Jack Blake, as a rival. He gets to go in his nice shiny car. His girlfriend came back, and he's kind of annoyed. Well, everything to kind of hit the idea that once the adventure really does begin, we're really rooting for this kid to go someplace and be successful. We were very conscious about trying to avoid George Lucas and Steven Spielberg, because they had already done this, to wildly successful, and for good reason. But if you start with the premise of a regular kid that's going to become a starfighter, you basically back into George Lucas and Steven Spielberg at every corner. You wind up finding out how very, very smart they are, because they come up with the best ideas. They really did for both Star Wars and E.T., especially Star Wars, I think, there's a lot of Star Wars in this movie. It's almost by its nature, it has to plow some of the same ground, and you just try to take, you see all those moments come up, and you realize, boy, George really knew what he was doing.
I'm a bit of a science buff, and I was like Nick. I was very interested in, as you'll see, in trying to depart from the George Lucas metaphor for space as a big black night sky with Spitfires wheeling around, and there too it was very, very hard to get into something more like a directionless space. And even in the game, I wanted to suggest that. I was always trying to add that extra element of space being directionless. So the three-dimensional orientation of the Starfighter is all kind of indicated in a sphere, and you're supposed to get used to the idea that up and down make no sense at all, and a bit of that we were able to maintain throughout the film. But that was kind of my desire, and it was my little variant on there to try to emphasize that. And the game very much, the game board very much represents, of course, the control panel for the Starfighter, but it also fools around with a little more with three-dimensional space than Lucas did. And that was our one little difference, I think.
And of course, showing the provincial nature of this little group, they all get excited because Alex is going to bust the record on the Starfighter machine. I mean, that's like, hey, that's
biggest
like
thing that ever happened around here.
Biggest thing.
And of course, it really forges the sense of community. And here we go, the mothership. You got to get a clean shot right through the hangar door. Hold on, wait. There it is. Ah.
So finally, Alex has busted the machine and is duly congratulated. And this, of course, record breaker. This is sending a signal right now.
Yes.
To forces that will come to change his life forever.
Yes. Well, the Starbright sign. Jim Bissell designed and built that, and kind of evoking the 30s, or the 40s.
Thank you.
Mm. That boy's gonna go places.
Yeah, and this is basically the moment between the excitement of pulling off the win on the Starfighter machine and when the fantasy is about being introduced. To show the little pause to develop the characters.
What's wrong?
Well, I guess it just hit me.
And the whole adventure really is somewhat of a metaphor of going away from the home and getting away, going to the big city, or going to school and leaving your girlfriend behind, and taking it to this wild, impossible parallel.
Truth is, you're scared of leaving this trailer park.
I'm not scared of leaving this trailer park, Alex.
Hey, listen. Whatever happens, it's you and me forever, right? Right?
I love you so much, Alex.
I'll always love you, Max.
Well, the idea of the video game was really popular there. A lot of people going to video arcades and getting their home sets and things like that. So it was a real big deal, and it was a kind of escape. And as far as how contemporary this was, I think it was attempted to be kind of a universal statement. Not, although it's definitely the '80s, the cars and everything else. It's a very kind of Americana, schmaltzy, corny kind of theatrical world that I was trying to create not a real world, but a motion picture theatrical world where sons are strong and there for his parents and so in that sense it has an old-fashioned flavor to it.
That's nice, dear.
Nice. Stupendous.
Alex, Mr. Brenner knew that you'd want to see this as soon as possible, so he brought it by the diner and.
I mean, would Alex Rogan have a nose ring now if we did the sequel? Or I'm not sure how that worked. I think it could work with a nose ring.
And now the crushing blow. His real aspirations are crushed.
And here Alex Rogan is now finding out that all his dreams are dashed. He's not going to be able to go to the school he wanted to. He's going to be stuck here at the trailer park. And he symbolically gets mad at it, throwing that at the sign. And we have a symbol of things to come. And maybe even the entrance of an extraterrestrial visitor.
The long shot of the trailer park against the stars hopefully gives you that sense of expectation, a kind of a connection, even the isolation of the trailer park in the universe almost. And
here we have a kind of anthropomorphic reaction by the game itself. It senses on some level something changing, a connection, a communication. It's almost like a homing device that the visitor from another world is using to find the Last Starfighter. Now, here we have one of the great castings in the 80s, I think.
Excuse me, son.
The Music Man in Outer Space. Robert Preston, of course, from The Music Man, countless other films, musicals. Another reference to that idea I said earlier about doing a contemporary musical without the music. Here's a terribly theatrical character with with just one of the most theatrical actors.
We have to talk about a matter of utmost importance. Step into my office.
That's it. Come on now. Nothing to be afraid of.
Oh, yes. Say hello to my assistant, Beta.
Howdy.
Ooh. That was the unformed beta unit that was just generated into life by shaking his hand. You see, it gave all the DNA or some kind of magical reason for him to now generate into a duplicate Alex Rogan, which we'll see in the scenes to come.
His memory traces. Oh, off we go. The Star Car is real in the sense that we had it built. I designed it. We built it out of sheet metal on a long frame, and we built a separate interior for these shots. Probably the funny thing is the actual car was powered by a Volkswagen engine, so it actually didn't move very fast, and it didn't make a very impressive sound. But of course, with movie magic and a little undercranking, we've got the thing not only moving like a rocket, but as you'll see, into the sky as well.
Luck even that brings us together. And as the poet says, the rest is history.
The effects were all mechanical effects, literally wires on the street sign, and that makes it shake. And then also we had to undercrank the camera in order to get any speed out of that car.
Who pesters the magician to tell you his tricks? Who sneaks downstairs to peek at his Christmas presents? No,
It's like a patter. It's like a song.
That's why I'm
Not gonna tell you.
Besides, I just love surprises, don't you? Hey, look out! Stop! Oh, dear. Hit the brake!
There's a significant change now. We've now shifted to the digital Star Car. First time anyone attempted in a motion picture to actually do photoreal rendered objects as though they were photographed. The only other picture that used this technology prior to this was Tron, which had to play to the kind of stylized, simpler versions of vector and basically colored geometric objects. So here we had the first time to try. It was the first time we tried to do something that looked like a photographed object. So from now on, you're viewing externally a completely digitized version of the Star Car in a digitized universe, wherein even the stars were actually objects, digitized objects, small polygons to get them to twinkle. So it was very early in this technology. So it was there were a lot of things that are easy to do now or very, very difficult to do then. Now we get a kind of a time, red shift effect of the stars turning blue ahead and reddish to the rear as we exceed the speed of light in some marvelous way. And now out of the star tunnel and our first view of Rylos. Very interesting thing about that one shot there of the panning shot from the tunnel to the planet. It's the first time anyone actually pulled off a kind of motion blur effect. And it was very, very difficult to do. All of the stars are blurring in that shot as we pan with the car. That's one of the reasons why it looks so real. Completely digitized world. Scanned objects. Very, very difficult to do at this time. Fractal landscapes that weren't as detailed as we wanted them to be. That's why the light level's sort of low. And we're also getting some shimmer. This was an attempt to kind of simulate a following camera with a certain amount of imperfection, as though the camera's flying a slightly different flight path. And then at this point, bang, back to the original mechanical car on a soundstage set.
Hey, let me out of here.
The first Rylon that you visit here is actually the producer's wife, a very good actress by the name of Maggie Adelson. And she is. I'm interested. What do you think, Ron? Do you think the look of the way you designed the look of the Rylons with the large brow, was it to suggest that they're smart? Is there by the fact that they have less hair and more brow, does that mean that one is necessarily smarter than an Earthling?
I don't know. I suppose. I mean, that's sort of a standard way of a standard symbol of something like that. But I think more than anything, I was kind of intrigued with giving them a kind of a more hair on the sides of their heads than in the top. Sort of like they're cat-like. I don't know. It was just it was just a pattern that occurred to me spontaneously, and it worked up well, and it felt, it fit well with the costumes, and we were stuck with it. As you can see here, now we're picking up a lot of the themes of the game, the colors of the game, the objects in the game, and more and more. And it was fun to kind of actually bring the whole game to life, with a real place called Rylos, and a real problem, and a real battle to fight. And the idea here was to give the Rylos, the Rylons, a kind of radiant, heroic, good guy look, even though they're a little peculiar, as opposed to the bad guys you'll see later. And so there's a lot of light here, and there's a lot of heroism, and there's a we wanted to kind of enhance the idea that this is the side to be on.
Someday these cheapskates will thank Centauri, trust me. Hula!
Back to Earth.
What? He's looking at the cartoons, obviously. There were several scenes that were shot at the very end of the movie. This being one of them, with the Beta unit and the kids, the kid on Earth and the girlfriend, and that subplot. When we tested the movie, these scenes played so well, and they were such great comic relief, that the studio agreed that a couple extra scenes would be appropriate and help enhance the movie, and this is one of them. And we've been told that there might be a Wizard of Oz parallel in this movie, and of course Dorothy here would be one of the clues.
Yes.
I'll be next door if you need anything, okay?
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Well, it occurred to us, especially when we get to Zur and the big head that looks very much like the character in the Wizard of Oz.
Oh my gosh.
This was an effect done with a dummy head and a balloon-like, skin. And I think someone just blew into it and gave that kind of throbbing, weird look. It's a good scare, especially for the under 15-year-old set.
Here's our biggest set, the big Rylos command center, if you will, and which we got this idea that we would actually pair this set with with its opposite, which is apparently behind the camera, which is all digital, as you will see, a completely artificial set built in a computer to make this even larger. This is the reveal. There's the digital Starfighter passing by our real physical landing strut, and then as it passes, all that you see was all built in the computer and rendered to look like real photography. there you go.
I gotta be dreaming.
EI. Kita.
Yeah, right. Kita.
Kita.
The Rylon vocabulary is gibberish, of course.
Now.
And so you didn't have to hear that for the rest of the movie. We gave you a little cheap way of getting out of it. I think one would call it cheesy now, in the 90s.
A little collar translator.
Wait a minute.
But effective nonetheless.
Wait a minute. We talking about recruits?
It even makes them lip sync the English. There are the Starfighters, recruits that came in before.
Attention, please. Ambassador Endurance.
As I said, they're from everywhere.
Now address Starfighter Command personnel.
And now we get a whole bunch of exposition. This fills you in on everything you may need or don't even want to know.
Gore and dust.
I'm sorry. It was an accident. I didn't mean to step on your.
Whatever that is.
If I may continue, our forces
You don't trifle with the Bugatti
Alex Rogan is talking to my cousin Johnny Mayo here
for this war.
from New York. Came out to Los Angeles
Why
to
else do you think you're here?
play this character.
You were recruited by the Star League to defend the...
There is no special effects makeup on him. This is what Johnny Mayo looks like.
Eons ago, our ancestors created our great frontier.
This again, this kind of tech look and a color scheme I always wanted to kind of repeat: the orange and green, and the grids and the linked planets, like the whole frontier. The worlds of the Federation are all linked by lines, like a giant molecule rotating on one side, and a little spacier, a little more true to the physics of it all than you'd see with Lucas, I think. It was fun designing the written language too, and getting that all done. That was rear projected, yeah.
Yes, rear projected film.
You alone stand between us and the black terror of the Kodan. Victory or death! 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 Victory or death!
Pure death.
And of course, as when thinking about the screenplay and the trajectory of the character, what he would be going through here, although he is a heroic character, you still have to play him somewhat reluctant. After all, he's coming to a strange place, going to fight a strange war with strange people. He can't necessarily just jump into it, so he's very confused and not about to become a target for the Kodan Armada, unless he really thinks about it, which is what he will wind up doing here. Now, of course, I'm lucky to have one of the great character actors, Dan O'Herlihy, and throw him into a very uncomfortable suit of clothes and mask for I don't know how many days. And he was a real trooper about it and gave, I think, great personality to the character of Greg. Ron came up with this design. No one said, Ron, do a turtle. Ron, do a chameleon.
Yes.
Where did you come up with this?
I don't know. It was just an idea to do a lizard head. And I originally thought of having splotches of different color. But actually, I think the coming down to the monochrome really helped the character, because you really tend to see the features better. The color might have distracted. But in the original drawings, it was just the idea of taking a whole bunch of fringed lizard characteristics and try them all out until I got something that was both human, something you could relate to, but still had that feeling of being a reptile. It evolved. It just kind of evolved and seemed to fit.
I remember when you came up with the idea before you had the drawing, and I was somewhat skeptical because I didn't know how the lizard was going to become the kind of character I wanted him to become,
Exactly.
which was this staff sergeant, this kind of guy with tremendous, power, and you have to instill fear, and also be the person that teaches Alex Rogan
Yes.
about being a hero, a real hero. So I had this feeling of this guy of stature, and it looked like this. I mean, a lizard. But then your drawing of it, I remember, just gave it such elegance and kind of bearing, for the character. Really gave him a sense of that he was an officer.
Well, I'm very pleased it worked out, because it could have been a problem if the latex had been too thick or too rigid, and you would have had a problem. But it actually worked out very well, because I think he expressed himself extremely well through that mask.
The guy that did the actual molding of the mask and stuff like that was Terry Smith, I believe. Uh-oh. Now what? The Wizard of Oz. Now this is the dreaded Zur, the turncoat Rylon, who is going to come back to try to capture his home planet.
Talk about being stared down. Where do you get an English accent?
That's right. English accents. They come in handy in these kind of things, aren't they? Like Obi-Wan Kenobi,
Yes.
Zur. Whoops.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Again, this is a lot of exposition we need to tell, hopefully in a theatrical way, so no one's snoring through this thing. Because we've got to introduce the bad guys and who we're fighting, lots of stuff, all in about this 10-minute section. Well, the idea, I think, of the head is that it's he is sitting someplace.
Oh, sure.
With some kind, it's because we even added those little
Sure. No, it's
video noise in there to show that it wasn't
a projection.
Yeah, some kind of strange three-dimensional projection.
Oh no, the poor captured spy.
Of course, when you see someone's brains fry, oops, that usually
Enough of
makes
that.
yeah. We had more of the brains frying, I might add.
Yes.
The whole mask, I think, actually melted, but it was a little too much for
His
the.
hand came in. You're right. I forgot. His hand was added to the head. Sorry.
Not even your mighty starfighters will be able to save you.
We shall see, Zor. We shall see.
You still want to go? And miss all the excitement?
And of course, like any red-blooded boy put into a situation like that, he says, "I want to go home. I don't want to do this."
It's not my battle.
Like I said before with George Lucas and how smart he is, we're fighting the Star Wars template all the time. As you recall, Luke Skywalker doesn't want to go initially, but he has to go.
All right, and what's coming up here is probably the largest digital shot we've tried to put together. It's one continuous shot here. The devices that constitute the barrier we call the frontier. We pan through that, and then we pull back, and then we see now the mothership, which was a gigantic object in number of polygons. This is a Codan fighter kind of coming in. It's a little runway. We'll see more of those later. And then as we get fully back, we see another fighter coming in, and then finally the ray that's sort of eating away at the frontier field to enable them to pass through into another part of the universe. The interior set here that Jim Bissell and I worked together on this. I wanted it to look very much below, like it was a big circuit board with people occupying positions in the at the ends of circuit runs. I think you'll get another shot of it later. And the Codan, of course, were meant to be sort of semi-satanic, if not obviously satanic, with having kind of horn-like faces with double chins, double horn chins, and monocles, and all the references you can think of to kind of say evil. And the color red, which I thought would, in this case, be very stark against the darker ship. Zur in person now, with the kind of the symbol of power, the mace, that is also a weapon, all to kind of underline his lust for power. And one of the ciphers, kind of the characters below, that's what you just saw turning around.
Lest we forget.
You're meant to see them as all connected, as I say, enslaved in the circuitry, the crew members down below.
Only I know the location of the Starfighter base.
And a very fascist-like symbol for the Kodan. The kind of the black cross with the... I personally think things like that are very powerful to come up with, really strong basic symbols and the use of color. It sort of resonates with the evil if it's all put together strongly. Now again, you see the big ray, which is rotating and working on somehow breaking down this barrier that those units have. They've succeeded in making a hole. So the first, in this case, they're just simply meteors, which is just hurling rocks. I suppose this is so they had plausible deniability. They can say, "Oh, well, just meteors." I don't know why they couldn't have just been big iron balls, but we decided they were meteors.
Here's the most important shot in the whole movie.
Yes.
My wife,
yes.
As a Rylon warrior
yes.
and technician.
With a receding hairline.
And our good friend Bruce Abbott, at that time married to Linda Hamilton. And also the lead in my first movie, Tag the Assassination Game, as the killer.
Alert! We are under attack. I repeat, we are under attack.
Here's my cousin.
Oh, here go the defensive guns.
You'd have to say the least successful thing digitally here, and which really shows the
yes.
Where we were at the infancy, was trying to do landscape.
Yes, actually, the irony is that we could do excellent landscapes, but every time we would design them so that they really looked very, very good, it took too long to actually render them. So they what happened is we had to pull back and simplify the landscapes so we could get them done in time. And as a result, a lot of the landscapes kind of look like melted ice cream, which was very disappointing to us.
Would that be true now? It's just a lot of information, is what you're saying.
It's a lot of information. We had to lessen the amount of information, the number of facets in the landscape. We did do versions that looked excellent, but they just took too long.
Quiet here. This is when my wife dies.
Oh yes, of course.
Okay. All right, everyone. Little prayer. Oh, damn user. Killed my wife.
Oh boy. Yes, the explosions are pyrotechnic, supered over. We wanted to do digital explosions, and we had a big plan to do some very spectacular digital explosions, but again, it was just going to take too long. There are huge penalties in developing a lot of this stuff at this point, and it was getting us into a lot of delays. It's amazing how fundamental some of these the levels at which we were working at one point.
You sure I can't give you a hand?
You've done quite enough.
All right, we're back to the physical car again, which I should mention was built by Linfield Studios. Did a beautiful job in in finishing it all off in metal and making sure the thing really held together.
And in this sense, Ron, you would have like a plan for the Star Car, give the plan to the digitizers or whatever we call them, and also give one to the physical guy who was going to do
exactly same plans.
Same plans.
So they're built exactly in the same proportions, and didn't have to do it twice.
Poverty again, he thinks I'm giving him a present. What a world this is.
What is it then?
It's a second chance, my boy. If you change your mind...
See, these communocrystals, now, in the 1990s, we call this a beeper.
Yes.
Keep it. Alex,
But
Communocrystal is a better name.
Yeah.
Chris Columbus say he wanted to stay home? No.
Chris Columbus is not the director, by the way.
Yes.
It's a different Chris Columbus for you young people who
Skeleton.
only know Chris has that name as the director of Home Alone.
Listen, Centauri, I'm not any of those guys. I'm a kid from a trailer park.
Ah, see? Some lessons to learn.
Yes, that's all he'll ever be.
And this was shot actually very close to the locations around the trailer park. It had a nice feel to it, I thought. It's the way to Rylos. Make a left at the moon. And now we have the fun, I think, unique to this picture, which was the beta unit and the real Alex eventually meeting, and Alex finding out that something's wrong here on Earth.
Yes.
I told you, Alex. Me and my, how did you put it, strange sexual urges aren't talking to you anymore.
Yeah, we used wipes and irises as a kind of transition devices that I think again kind of they're kind of throwbacks and kind of classic adventure story transition elements that give a sense of fun to the movie.
Who's there? You're gonna wake up Lewis.
Yeah, this we wind up doing one split screen in here to kind of pay off the fact that there are two individuals that look exactly alike. Nothing very complicated. It's been done since probably the beginning of film, and it's of course since the creation of digital compositing and shooting with that kind of process in mind. There's been all kinds of really interesting things done in other films, but we just did something very simple here in this shot. You know, we basically have the script supervisor or someone else sitting in for the other person in the scene, and then switch them again when Lance is recostumed as the beta unit, let's say, and script supervisor plays the other person. Then you just take them out.
Thanks for the lift. Sure thing, buddy. See you around.
Here comes the hitman. Disguised as an Earthling.
Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Star.
This is Mark Alamo, who plays the Hit Beast. He has this appearance of being a human being, but underneath, he's the Hit Beast. And the Starfighter machine actually interrupts some kind of focus that he has, so that he inadvertently turns back into the Hit Beast.
He's exposed.
He's exposed by the machine itself. Machine gets a lot of work here.
Yes. Well, Machine's a good guy, too.
Yeah.
I screamed. I'll apologize tomorrow, okay? You're not gonna be here. You're going back with Centauri right now.
What's up, Alex?
Back to sleep, Lewis.
This is fun. The Lewis character, of course, wakes up in the middle of this as if he's in the midst of a dream, and one of those moments that you...
What the shit?
Whoa.
I said back to sleep, Lewis, or I'm telling Mom about your Playboy.
See, he's just dreaming. Lewis is a precocious little guy, of course.
Come on, get back here and take your
I used to play tricks on my little brother, too.
Yeah.
You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Greetings, Starfighter.
The idea here is that the machine is kind of warning Alex, or Alex knows that the machine was going crazy before when Centauri showed up. And then he's hearing these garbled things, and here's a clear message from Centauri.
Greetings, Starfighter.
He hears his voice, and now looks back as if he's probably here. That was done really just to kind of bring Alex back to a position where this will happen. I think King Baggett, who was the cameraman on here, did a lot of nice stuff, especially with the night exteriors. I think they're
Yes, that's very good.
nicely modulated, and this gives a sense of drama and still in that kind of theatrical context.
Come on, Alex, don't be such a wimp.
We didn't have a lot of time to shoot action. And here, I think, you know, it's pretty static, I find, when I look back at it now, 15 years later. Fun, because of some of the things that are done there. But didn't have a lot of time. The whole shooting schedule was only 40 days. And that included green screen and things of that nature when we're later on in the Gunstar, and also the material that's done in the Star Car. So it wasn't an awful lot of time to do this adventure film.
Bet your asteroid.
Get your asteroids.
What? This is a Zandozan.
Yes, a Zandozan.
Interstellar hit feast. Compliments of Zur.
Zur? Why is he after me?
Somehow he found out you're a starfighter.
So you see, Alex, you gotta go back. You got no choice. Because if you stay down here, you're dog food.
Trust Centauri, my boy.
Preston is the archetypal flim-flam man. You know, he's selling a bill of goods here to the kid, to Rylos. He's going to make money off this, so he doesn't have a lot at stake. It's a nice character to have in a space opera.
Right, Alex. At least up there you have a fighting chance in a Gunstar.
Exactly. Meanwhile, down here, they'll be going after Beta.
Beta? Beta?
Of course. What do you think he's here for?
wait a second here, Centauri.
Alex, look out!
I think what makes this movie fun is the structure of the parallel story of the danger in outer space and the danger here on Earth. It is the one big factor I look to say, okay, this isn't just a Star Wars ripoff. You know, this has a lot of originality here in the writing, and Jonathan had a lot of good ideas here, I think, in terms of, again, a way of drawing a contemporary young person into the danger of it all and the fun of it all by having the bad guys come to Earth, not just the good guys go up and fight an interstellar war.
Look, Alex. You too, Alex.
Centauri to Starfighter Command. Centauri to Starfighter Command. Come in, please.
Hey, Centauri.
Now,
Things are much different now.
yes, something's happened since the last time Alex visited Rylos, and that's he's soon to find out that he is the last Starfighter. And if you look very closely on that last shot, you'll see the reflection of the stage above. The rafters on the stage at MGM Studios at the time.
He's right over here.
Here we have the Star Car stopping, the Star car itself, and when we cut inside to see Robert Preston and Centauri in his last dying breath, we'll be in the set Star Car. The interior, of course, is not the same as the exterior of the car. It was something that we could roll in after we took the actual Star Car out and do these essentially interior shots of the Star Car.
All for you.
At the end of this scene, I had not done a close-up of Alex' reaction to the death of his old friend Centauri, and felt I needed it. When we did our extra scenes, I wound up adding a shot of Alex, and of course, by that time, Lance Guest had cut his hair, so we had to put on a wig, and you don't even have to look that closely to notice it, but I'm sure if you didn't know, you would let it go by.
Until the next dimension, old friend.
And here he dies.
I'm sorry, Alex.
Centauri?
He's still dead. And here's some new hair.
Who's in the foreground?
Some other actor, I'm sure.
Alex.
This is, again, one of the added scenes that was shot after the initial editing of the picture. See, his super hearing has picked up a moth instead of what he had assumed was some extraterrestrial visitor, and now he's going to take care of that hearing problem.
Now I need an ear job. I'm dying.
And once again, because it worked so well in the last one, we have the reaction of Lewis, who still is in a dream.
Alex, what the hell's going on?
Lewis?
And this, of course, is a split screen
Having a
where
terrible
he didn't
night.
actually take Lance Guest's head
Right,
off.
sleep.
And all the person is doing on the right is actually leaning their head down.
Yeah.
And we put those little blinking lights on the top of his, where his head should be.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, that's not your
Beavers
normal
don't
shooting
do that.
star.
Yes.
Am I to understand there's a beta unit taking your place back
So
home?
now we're in the last remaining Starfighter silo, as you'll see. We had envisioned that the ships would kind of fire up through these tubes on tracks. So we're going to see first Alex as a Starfighter, and then we're going to see the Starfighter itself for the first time.
Now you look human.
The Gunstar.
The Starfighter, the Gunstar, yes, the Gunstar. Now, this is a set with a digital mat to the left, because that actually piece of the ship was actually, we did that in the Cray. Now, he's looking up, standing on the catwalk, and the fully digital shot here actually includes him standing on the catwalk, looking over. If you just the tiny movement where you see him looking over, and now we go back and he stops looking over the edge. And you really have to look for it. It's very small. But he was fully built in the computer in his little uniform and everything, just for that top shot. We didn't want to risk getting too close to the digital versions of the actors, although we had to show them all the time in the cockpit as the Gunstar flew around. This, of course, is a set piece, and this is all a physical set with a digital mat of the tube behind. And now we're going to see an echo of the game in his sort of heads-up display, which is now on. He turns it on, and it naturally wanted it to look very much like the game. He's looking up the tube, and then if he moves his head to the right or the left, it seems to disappear. But it's always there, and will always be there between his line of sight and whatever he's firing at. Then the feature of the Starfighter that we now see in detail is that the entire seat is slave to the gun turrets. I particularly wanted this to be fully three-dimensional. As you'll see later, it was meant to also mean that he could tip over forward and backward and upside down and fire from the bottom and the top, and like there's no direction in space. And we never got a chance to fully realize that, but we're sort of showing here how all this goes. In the earlier shot, when the seat moved, you could see the digital gun turret moving at the same time behind him.
Luckily, I was in here working on it when the hangar went up. Now, are you ready?
All systems. Go. Ignition.
Wait a minute, when did the hangar go up?
I told you! When's your attack?
And where were the Starfighters?
In the hangar!
You mean they're dead?
Now a fully digital sequence of the launch. And this is probably the most elaborate object we built as a polygonal mesh, a series of facets defined in 3 space in the computer to actually look like the Starfighter, and then rendered it with computer light and everything else and animated it. The only thing we didn't have was motion blur. Off it goes. The envelopes of gas that constitute the exhaust were actually very difficult to do. We had to kind of use a lot of physical tricks and semi-transparency to get the flames to look the way we wanted them.
No plan? One ship, you, me, and that's it?
Exactly. Zero thinks you're still on Earth. Classic military strategy. Surprise attack.
It'll be a slaughter!
That's the spirit!
No, my slaughter. One ship against the whole armada?
Yes, one gun star against the Armada. I've always wanted to fight a desperate battle against incredible odds. Target lights, Alex.
Target lights?
Yes. You might want to squeeze off a few rounds while you have the chance. Just work the bugs out.
Now we're going to see the first, demonstration of the firing chair with a little target practice coming up here. Again, prefigured in the game. Target lights. Just can't get the hang of it.
Yeah. Can't fight the chair. You don't want to do that.
No.
It's all new to that part's all new to Alex.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
And the gloves don't help.
Killed a million miles from nowhere.
For the gung-ho iguana. Ah, got it. Interesting.
This was in the original script and shot in the initial weeks of production, as opposed to some of the other additional scenes on Earth.
Okay. Oh, that's it. Easy. Nice and easy. Yeah. A little bit more, we get it in there now. Alex!
Sorry. Hi, Max.
I like the widescreen format for this part of the movie as well as I obviously like it for this kind of space odyssey, but because it really puts you in the environment. It gives you a lot of environment, and especially earlier in this scene, there are shots where you see the silhouette of the hills in the background, and you really get a sense of place, and that you're not on a set and
That's okay, Max.
you're in this isolated world.
I'm sorry.
Well, maybe we can make it up to each other tonight, Silver Lake.
I realize I think this is the only movie I've made widescreen. Makes me think maybe the next one should be one. It's kind of fun to see it.
The Armada will break through the frontier here and reach Rylos in 20 clicks. Squadrons of deck fighters will precede the mothership.
Squadrons? How many squadrons?
It isn't the number of squadrons that concerns me. It's this communication turret that sends out the commands to the deck fighters, which enables them to act as one during the fight.
Wait a second. We knock out the turret to get the fighters. But to get the turret, we gotta get through the fighters. We're dead.
I'll have it all figured out by the time we reach the frontier.
What's that?
The frontier.
Well, Oh, there's the we now see the frontier, you know, from a distance, which is like a pattern of lights. So you know this sort of basket weave force field that divides the universe in some way. Is in the background there.
I repeat, this is Gunstar 1. Identify yourself, please.
And we have our first encounters.
A Zurian ship.
A Zurian ship. It's escaping.
Congratulations, Alex. This is your first live target.
Your first live target. So we get right into the battle right away.
Within range in 5 clicks. Get ready.
There's our big down shot of the infinite frontier here.
I've lost its beamer frequency, so I can't report back to the Armada. Fire when ready.
Great, wait.
Into the caves. And here's where we kind of had the melted ice cream effect, which we could have made the interior of the caves could have been more detailed and more complicated, but we didn't have time.
Yeah, like here, you're supposed to come to a dead end, and
it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But you get a sense of it. The interactive light of the engines against the cave was at least we were able to accomplish that. Some of the lighting worked out fairly well here. Like this low front shot. This is very good. The lighting worked very well there.
You did it! I did it. You did it! You almost got me killed!
My deepest apologies, Alex. I had hoped that by putting you in the thick of battle, a great starfighter would emerge. But alas, perhaps there was never one within you to begin with. I shall take you home. You still may...
You don't actually have a locking ring for that helmet, so it could never actually be... You know, it could never actually be airtight. That was a kind of something overlooked as well. It doesn't look like it would actually be airtight around the neck, but it's still, I'm very pleased with the look of it.
When it all goes wrong. Hey, yo, Blake! Let that sucker blast, man! You got it, dude! All right! You see things I've never heard.
This was an added scene. This is done in Griffith Park in Los Angeles. As I recall, Lance had a fever, and gave him a nice pasty look, made him look more like an alien.
Yes, he looks like a mannequin. Well, you mean you were in the truck? That was a moving shot.
Yep.
With lights out the back against the cliff wall. That was a mount.
Acting spaced out. You're not yourself.
Well, if you were me, what would you be doing right now?
Well, for one thing, I'd be trying to enjoy myself. Leaning back, kidding around, laughing.
Laughing?
Well, it's a start, Alex.
Laughing?
He smells something bad. Doing something bad to him.
Nice place. Reminds me of home.
This reminds you of home?
Yes. I live below ground with my wife boy.
Wife-oid.
6,000 little
Yeah, here we have an interstellar photo pack that Greg happens to have. We did that we added to that in post-production. Jeff Oken, I think, did the work on that, or a visual effects supervisor.
Here's my family. See, that's my folks, and my brother Louis, and that's Maggie. We live in a mobile home. That's a cave that goes places. Only we never went any place.
Dan really had to work that mask too. He showed me how he had to move his mouth and the musculature in his face in order to get any expression out of the character. I mean, he really had to force his movements to get the kind of expressions you're seeing there.
What is it, Alex?
Well, I was just thinking, maybe we could hide here, let the Armada pass by, and then hit the turret from behind.
Then we might take them by surprise. Your plan might really have worked. What a pity there are no starfighters left to carry it out.
Yeah.
No more. Gunstar's a tough hombre. Will hit.
Getting hit now.
Yeah.
Hit from top. Of course, we wanted to show that the targeting would pass. Let's see, he's still firing. The heads-up display, which shows what he's shooting at, will pass over opaque parts of the Gunstar, and it still means he's tracking the target. I think that's coming up. I wanted to demonstrate that.
You see in the explosions that while the explosion itself is a pyrotechnic, they added digital pieces of the plane falling off it.
Yes, indeed.
Was nice to have that interactive element.
What is it, Alex?
Maybe there is a starfighter left.
Yeah, there's a famous Silver Lake in Los Angeles, but this was written by a New Yorker.
Yes.
In the original, so I don't think he was thinking of the Los Angeles suburb. Always one of the top laugh getters in the film, this scene.
What's wrong? Should I put my tongue in your ear now?
Don't bother, Alex.
Well, it's just, I'm kind of new at these gland games.
What are you talking about? It's like you're a million miles away, Alex.
Whoa, wait, darling. Forgive me.
See, this is great B cheesy movie stuff. I mean, this is really stuff that you want to watch on videotape over and over again when you're a kid, especially. I find meeting a lot of younger people. I have two sons, one 25, one 21 almost, and some of their friends remember this at age 8 or 9 or something like that as their favorite movie of the time. You know, they just absolutely love it, and the idea that it had anything to do with Last Starfighter is kind of like part of their experience as a young boy. It's funny to see it through their eyes.
I'm a beta unit. I'm an exact duplicate of Alex.
So he's up there saving the universe while I'm down here for target practice.
That's as close as we get to anything sexual, really, in the movie.
Alex, or whatever you are, wait!
What do you do? Let me go. If that sailor's name reports back that I'm not Alex, Alex is in big trouble. You're staying here.
No, I'm not. I'm not staying anywhere until I find out what's going on.
God. Hey, my truck. Hey, come back! Start that pain, you're dead, Brogan.
The mothership's made a larger hole now. There are the nodes in the circuit board.
Frontier is down.
Invade. The frontier is down.
All squadrons are ahead, half speed.
Yeah, the whole image of this is nice with the smoke coming out of it.
Here use a kind of particle beam, a particle program to sort of fly all these little ships around so that they all kind of follow one another in random patterns, form up into formations, head through.
Energy probe. Shut down, Alex. Shut down.
Power off.
Alex, in space? Is this for real?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's all for real.
Well, then don't talk, drive!
The design of this little tiny craft is actually lifted from stuff that was in Alien that wasn't seen. It was never actually even built, so we all decided, Jim decided whether you just build it as the little alien ship.
Extermination Emissary Zeta 6-1 message.
Ready?
Oh,
jump!
Alex!
The Last Starfighter.
You see the supreme sacrifice here. Beta unit knows he can give himself up.
Transmission pulsars have stopped, Commander. The Last Starfighter
is dead.
He's dead.
Last Starfighter is
These
dead.
Kodan guys are a little dense. Really. That's why they need someone like Zura, I think, who's more of a flamboyant fella. That's a nice shot. Ah. The Kodan Armada is on its way.
The mothership.
The command ship.
The command ship.
There. The turret at the far end.
I see it.
Good luck, Starfighter.
Thanks, Greg. For everything.
There's Alex's old dad, King Baggett, the cameraman. Of course,
I love you,
as he looks at Maggie, it's almost like a signal to her emotionally to connect, to give him the strength to go off and be a hero.
Yes.
Chair control. Check. Whoop. Let's do it.
You get into a real effects-laden series of shots.
Very definitely. Yes.
What is it?
Oh, identify. It's a starfighter.
It's the Gunstar.
So, the Last Starfighter is dead? This has gone far enough. Seize him!
How dare you? I am the Emperor of Violence. I and I alone command this entire... Release me! I command you... You will pay for this with your life!
All guns, fire!
Nice, the turrets.
There it is. Turret. Alex, now. Got it.
Got it.
Hurry, Alex, fire! The Armada's almost surrounded us.
Here's where he...
Yes, it was underneath. This is the sequence where we were trying to demonstrate that you can tip over and actually view rearward. It isn't clearly portrayed, and fire missiles that will go forward and then rearward and can actually be watched and guided in from a rear view of the gun chair. And so we just had this little nice maneuver of the missile sort of crossing over and circling back, and as one sort of final blow to the command ship. This is the other thing we kind of want to do, is get more verticality than you usually see in these sort of space battles, as though you're high above and high below, more of the vertical dimension than just horizontal distances.
Life support good. Ammo packs are peak.
Think we gotta use Death Blossom.
Remember, Death Blossom delivers only one massive volley at close range. Theoretically.
What do you mean, theoretically?
After all, DB has never been tested. It might overload the systems. Blow up the ship.
What are you worried about, Greek? Theoretically, we should already be dead.
Open Death Blossom petals. Switch is off.
Probably should say something about Zur escaped.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
He got away.
Well, damn it.
So that's for the
He hasn't-
sequel.
The sequel hasn't shown up yet.
Well, here's the final weapon, the
weapon?
Death Blossom.
Weapon of mass destruction.
The weapon of mass destruction.
This is a true weapon of mass destruction.
It certainly is. Just see how many weapons are in there. I mean, the whole thing's chockers. Here we go.
I'm going to charge the whole line here. And he's going to individually take them out and fly through this corridor of bad guys. Oh. See, and they start to...
Look at the chaos it's caused.
And he has to block, you see, their own rockets coming at him.
That's right.
Yeah. Boom. Now they're closing in on him from both sides.
Looking everywhere.
Evade. Clever. Grig's a clever... Yeah. Clever navigator. See, now he can go behind.
See, the targets. The targets are still indicated behind the structure of the ship. He still knows where they are.
Great, my weapons are gone. Can I do it? Easy, easy. Wait till they're all
Awesome range. Oh my gosh.
Oh. It turns into a top.
Yes.
Flying any which way.
Gone. Incredible weapon.
It's kind of a silly notion, but got the job done.
Yes, it did. Now all the shutters are closing, you see.
That's right.
Still in trouble.
We did it.
Yes, we
There's always one final problem.
From above. Command ship.
Our guns are out. Damage control's repairing them. Forget the guns! Running
Speed.
Greg, we need power.
Death Blossom's drained all power. I'm working on it. I'm trying to run boost.
Little circuit board pulled out here. This will save the ship somehow.
Greg!
Oh,
Ah.
God.
They scraped along with...
Oh, bang, yes. Get out of there. Oh,
whoa.
More hit. Fire. Exit.
And this, of course, is your famous and ubiquitous just pushing the camera around to give it a sense of
Yes.
the whole building shaking.
Well, the actors hold on.
Well, the actors fake like the whole building shaking. And I don't think it's done much differently most of the time, unless you really want to see something fall on somebody.
The motorized monocle here. We die.
I'll give him some dignity. Yes. Darn it.
Yes. Oh, boy. Yahoo!
Yahoo! Ah, and a big celebration.
Things are hot.
This was shot after the fact as well. We had done a initial Star League celebration for Alex with not enough money, frankly, and it came out looking very unworkable. Didn't come up to the standards we had set for ourselves. And well, when the studio saw what we had and realized the rest of the film was looking so good, we came up with a proposition that was fairly inexpensive, but sold the idea, I think, a lot better. So Lorimar was gracious enough and smart enough, I think, to put some more money into it. Doing it in this matte painting was, I think, much more effective. At least you got something otherworldly. And then, very simply, shot the rest on the stage. Because we're up high, we felt we could cheat the world below. And we had the resurrection of our old pal. No one dies in these movies. None of the good guys, at least.
Suffice it to say, you're on Rylos, my boy. Stop thinking human. That's lesson number 1. Now, lesson number 2. You've got a good thing going here. Keep smiling. Don't blow it. Lesson number 3. Always trust Centauri. Alex, they love you.
See? All Rylos is behind you.
You've got to stay, Alex.
You will stay, won't you?
Of course he'll stay.
It's very reassuring, Centauri, Greg. I leave it in your capable hands. Stay.
Leading Starfighter.
Bunny, have you seen Alex?
Can't say that I have.
Oh, well, ask Maggie. She knows where he is. She was with him.
Maggie, where's Alex?
Yeah, where's my truck? Where's your boyfriend?
Mrs. Rogan, about Alex. You see, he's...
Oh, what's going on? I don't know.
What the...
There are some visual effects added to some of this. When the ship was coming down, those were added lights in the coming from the exhaust of the ship.
And the digital composite here, the night shot with the practical smoke, and then the real foreground with the digital Gunstar coming down.
Maggie.
And all this smoke was added to this shot, to the digital shot separately.
Mm-hmm. See our little digital mannequin coming down the lift to our practical set piece, of course, with Alex and our Gunstar leg in the foreground. Actually parted up to the parking lot there, the trailer park.
Alex?
Hi, Max.
And this is, I think, what it makes this picture from on its storyline side charming. It's the story of the boy that made good, that comes home and tells his folks and his friends and his girlfriend that he did good. That he did good in the big city, or in this case, in the big universe. And it's really about coming back, saying hi, and wanting his girlfriend to come back with him to college. But she's not going to go to college, she's going to go to Rylos. I think that's all those little pieces, bits of, of story are unique to the movie and charming.
I've been to another planet, Ma.
Another planet? Who was it helped fix my antenna?
Yeah, who stole my truck?
And cut my electric. And ruined my stove.
Oh, that was a beta unit.
Beta unit?
A robot.
Come on.
A monster.
Monster.
All right, it's an alien.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Hey, Granny, put away that shotgun. What's wrong with you? This is my friend Grigg. I want you all to meet my friend here. Grigg, this is Mrs. Boone.
Here's Alex bringing his friend back from college. You have to broaden your horizons now, folks. I'm bringing the guy from France back. He only speaks French.
Friend of Alex.
There's a kind of unspoken moment of having to deal with prejudice here, maybe, when you see something that you don't really understand and having to relate to it.
Lewis. I hear good things about you.
Hear that, slimes? I'm famous.
I mean, this whole section is so corny but fun, I think.
Oh, yes.
And introducing your alien friend to your folks and your friends.
He saved the Star League and hundreds of worlds, including Earth.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Time to leave, Alex.
Alex?
I have to, Ma. They need me up there.
Oh, Alex. I always knew you'd leave someday, but I never expected this.
Gee, can I go too, Alex? Can I?
Sorry, Squirt. There's only enough room up there for me, Grigg, and Maggie.
Me?
Yeah.
Alex,
Oh.
I don't think I...
Come here. Why else do you think I came back?
More than she bargained for.
Didn't we say we'd always be
Yeah,
together?
Maggie was even afraid to go to college with him, let alone another planet. So, small-time girl has to make a big decision here.
I don't know when I'm gonna be back. Don't you see, this is it. This is our big chance.
I hope we gave got some money from Bud Light. That's all I know.
Yes.
Well, what about Granny, Alex? You're right. I'm scared of leaving here. Why can't you just stay?
Maggie,
I think
I have to leave. I want you to come with me.
Craig Saffin's score through all this is nicely modulated. It gives you a sense of the romance and the fear that she's going through, and the indecision. And then finally, when it breaks into the theme, when she makes the decision to come, it really is kind of, it gives you a warm feeling. And it's very expertly done. He's a really accomplished composer. All this music just gives you a sense of the indecision and the potential loss of a loved one, and done without, I think just done with very tasty. Craig did my first movie, Tag: The Assassination Game. Was recommended by Elmer Bernstein for that movie, and he did a wonderful job on that, I thought. And I suggested him to Lorimar when we got to the point of discussing composers.
Pete, watch this. You're doing. Pete, this is now. This baby really packs a punch.
We were up on a crane, and they were one crane bringing them up and us on a cherry picker above them to give that perspective. What you don't know really about the gun story is that you can't get burnt by the by that, even if you're only 30 feet away.
Yes, exactly.
It's okay.
Alex and Maggie left for the stars.
Yeah.
Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zor and the Kodan Armada.
I like this image of the little kid looking at the game and then looking up and seeing the real thing. And they are off into the sunset to fight more battles and for truth, justice, and the merit. Well, I don't know what way. Yeah. For Rylon Way.
Yes.
One thing about the special effects that we haven't talked about is that really, when we started this movie, and when the decision was made to do it all with the digital effects, it was not done before, not done to this extent before. There was nothing really to even show that it could be done for a whole movie. We were really banking, I was personally banking on my knowledge of Ron Cobb's expertise, because I'd known him from Dark Star, a film that my friends John Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon did back in film school. And he did some work on their film designing, their spaceships and things of that nature. But this was a giant gamble by Gary Adelson, who made the connection with the company and Lorimar, and going way out on a limb to break new ground. And so we were always working on the assumption that this would work. We were always in research and development as we were doing it. It was pretty scary because we would see first line drawings or line vectors of the ships, and for a long time all we were doing was imagining what it would look like. It would go in stages. We'd see the line drawings, then we'd see like intermediary stage where we'd see shadings. And I remember Jonathan Betchwell and I looking at each other, and we started to make a joke about this going to be Gumby in outer space, because we just were really afraid of the final look looking like the intermediary looks, and not having the time or even knowing what if they could pull this thing off. So there was a fear factor in this whole thing. I guess that happens when you break new ground. But I was pretty confident because I knew Ron was the one that was steering the ship, so to speak, on the level of special effects. And his talent was not in question. What was in question was, 1, could we do it on time? 2, could we do it for the budget we had talked about? And 3, could it be done at all? I remember Jeff Oken, our visual effects supervisor, coming back to me at one point going, they'll never be able to do the landscape. They'll never be able to do those tunnels. And that was the one area where we were disappointed in, as Ron had said, where just didn't have the time. But early on, going back to early on, we just didn't know. We didn't know, and it's an interesting thing to go into a movie with half of the movie as a question mark. Well, let's see. That's about the end of The Last Starfighter, and we hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed our commentary. For all of you who have never seen it, I hope you liked it, and for those that are visiting it for the second or third time, it's been fun to be along on the ride with you.